Eternal Father, Lord of hosts, watch o'er the men who guard our coast. Protect them from the raging seas, and give them light and life and peace. Grant them from thy great throne above the shield and shelter of thy love.
And we're up.
Okay, well, welcome to the August 5th edition of Lock and Load Radio with Andy and Mike. And
For those that don't know,
I actually never heard of that. I never heard it before. So.
That was the U.S. Coast Guard hymn. The U.S. Coast Guard turned 225 years old yesterday. So happy birthday to the Coast Guard. I have a personal connection, which is why I wanted to do this. My father is a retired Coast Guard captain.
Coastie?
Yeah, he served 30 years in the United States Coast Guard, retired in 1999. Is very proud of the service that he was part of, and takes it close to heart. So since their birthday was yesterday, happy birthday, Coasties.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's see. The week that was for Mike. Always a good story.
The week that was for Mike. Oh yeah, this one's just ducky. So we're in the midst of contract. You're late. Well, yes, I'm late for the birthday. If you're Rain Man, we know that the Coast Guard hymn.
We said that.
Well, they're behind us, so we got to remember that too. But so that was Eternal Father for the Coast Guard. It's the Coast Guard hymn, not the anthem. They do actually have a marching song too. You want to hear that? We'll play that one. We'll play that one real quick because it's good for a laugh.
Okay.
So we'll play this and see what you think.
Okay.
It's coming.
From Western shore to Arctic zone to Europe and Far East, the flag is carried by our ships in times of war and peace. And never have we struck it yet, in spite of foeman's might. We'll cheer and cruise and cheer again, for show me how to fight. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. Through surf and storm and hurricane, I shall conquer the speed. Send and Cruz is our guide, on vain and holy to save or fight and die. Like Coast Guard, we are for you.
So I'll cut it off there. It's actually got another minute and a half to go.
Yeah,
so.
that's good. It's a radio show. Yeah.
So, but back to the week, I guess, before we continue on with that one.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're in the midst of contract renewal at work. I work for a contract company.
Hold that thought. By the way, the views expressed on this program do not reflect anybody but our own opinions, and they do not reflect any agency, organization, club, or otherwise that we may or may not be working for or volunteering for or whatever. It's
unless
just
we
Mike and Andy.
specifically state.
Right, unless we specifically say. I'm sorry, I forgot that. So yes, you're in the middle of contract renewal. Oh, yes, thank you.
In the middle of contract renewal, and Friday morning, I get this lovely email right around lunchtime. Can you please tell your employees not to sleep at work? So one of my guys had his feet propped up on the desk and was snoring when some senior executives from the agency on the government side were walking through and looking at the seats that we've been assigned. Fantastic. That kind of describes about the whole damn week.
Oh.
Let's put it this way. I am so looking forward to the end of this one, but for reasons we're not discussing.
Right. Which I already outed you on anyway.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
And yours?
Sorry. Good. It got some things in the works. We'll see. I'll talk about them after we see if they come through. But it was good. I'm still running, and week 5. Actually, I'm in the middle of week 5 of the Couch to 5K. And so far, I haven't killed myself yet, but I think the next run might kill me. 20 minutes. So today I ran. Okay, so the Couch to 5K is an interval thing for those of you that care. You run a little, you walk a little, you run a little, you walk a little. So today I had to run 8 minutes, walk 5 minutes, which is cake, and then run 8 minutes. Okay, well, I was ready for that. And I thought I had to run 5 minutes. I thought it was 8, 5, and 8 for runs, but it wasn't. So by the time I got to the second 8-minute run, I thought, oh my God, if I have to run another 5 minutes, I don't know if I can do it. But I just kept, you can do this, you can do this. And they were like, cool down. And I was like, yes. So I went to look for what the next thing is, and they want me to run for 20 minutes. I'm like, how am I supposed to go from 8 minutes to 20 minutes? I have no idea. But next week I'll let you know if I did it. I figure I'm going to do it, and I'll do it until I fall over, and then I'll go back out another day and I'll do it until I fall over, and eventually I'll make it to 20 minutes. So that's been really good, and I'm pretty happy with the way that's going. I mean, it's taking me a little longer, but I've got knee issues, so it behooves me to be careful. What did we do over the weekend? Oh, Lily's at camp. She's at camp. All is quiet around the house, oddly enough. Well, not that quiet. Molly's got a lot to say at about, 2 o'clock in the morning and 4 o'clock in the morning. So, yeah. But tis the way with puppies. And,
True.
Yeah. And, can't think of anything other than that was, anything.
I don't think I really did a whole lot over the weekend this weekend. So
yeah, I spent Sunday by the pool, which was very cool, and a whole lot of dogs in my pool. So, but that was good. I mean, they were all family. It was the mother and father of Smeagol and Molly. So that was good. And so it was, it was a good week. But it was a very interesting week in the news. We had a lot going on. And sounds like they should be. I'm not going to read that. Hi, Cypher. Welcome. Paperwork. Welcome. Glad to see Bolts. And Bolts, you're going to have to work it out with MJD.
I'm working on it.
Okay. So, yeah, happy to have you, but we got to figure it out because Blog Talk's a mess. Actually, it's really Skype that's the issue, I think.
Oh, well, no, because I can Skype to anywhere else. I just can't get Blog Talk to answer their phone. So, But when I call them on my phone, they answer.
So,
and I have no idea what it would do to the show if I logged into Blog Talk and said, go ahead and allow it to use the mic. I don't think it can. I don't think Hangout and it can do both, but
I don't know.
I've never tried it, and I don't think I want to try it on a live show. So
okay, well, maybe like at the end of the show,
quite possibly
try it for like 30 seconds or something. So yeah, Barry Rascovar. Did you read the Barry Rascovar column about Hogan?
I read snippets of it. I don't think I read the whole thing.
See, so. I thought you did. So Barry Rascovar is a local columnist, opinion writer. He is published on Maryland Reporter. He has his own blog, and trying to find Barry Rascovar's columns that you can hear it for yourself. It was unfreaking believable. He basically said that it's not coming up. Oh, wait, there it is. I found it.
Oh, they're not going to be able to hear it.
They don't.
You have to send it to me if you are you going to read it?
No, it's not a. It's not okay. It's a genuine op-ed piece. But anyway, the column head is "The New Nasty Larry Hogan," and apparently. Well, it starts out, what happened to the friendly, smiling, easygoing Larry Hogan? Mr. Nice Guy has morphed into Mr. Nasty. Perhaps he spent too much time with his pal, New Jersey Governor Christie, the combative presidential hopeful with the mouth that roars. By the way, presidential debate tomorrow night. So we'll be talking about that next week. So everybody pay attention so we can have a good debate. And he actually he goes on in this thing to say, well, gee, could this be because of his chemo? And I'm sorry, party foul. You don't like his decisions, fine. But he says perhaps his hairless Kojak look, as well as his tough chemotherapy sessions, help explain what's going on. Or maybe, and then he gives some other theories. But it is unbelievable. Rascovar is upset because he closed the Baltimore City Jail without what he calls notice. Well, the governor explained he didn't want to give notice because he didn't want the gangs to find out. Because then they switch things over and move things around, and there's more detail to Hogan's explanation, but that's it in a nutshell. And Rascovar asserts, and I don't know this to be true, on an impulse, unilaterally reopened the Senate chamber and the State House while the prime mover in its historic restoration, the Democratic state Senate president, was out of the country. I can't imagine that he did that on an impulse, but I don't know. I don't work in the governor's office.
I'd be fairly sure they probably did it close to the end of the construction schedule.
I would think. Vindictively eliminated $2 million in renovations for an arts center cherished by the Democrat House Speaker. So because he saved our tax money from going to an arts center, this is a bad thing. And clearly, his chemo is getting to him, or he's been hanging out with Christie or whatever. Slashed education aid to Democratic strongholds and then reneged on a compromise. That's actually not quite so. They wanted all the money and he gave them an increase, but he didn't give them all the money they wanted. So let's just, it's like saying, well, I want a raise of $10,000 and only getting a raise of $5,000 and then bitching about it. Well, you got a raise. So, let's see. Rascovar says preemptively killed the Baltimore region's rapid rail red line without any backup plan. You don't need a backup plan. That wasn't going to be a success anyway, and there were statistics to prove that. There were studies after study anyway. So why would we spend a couple $1 billion? And I know my friend Tom would have to do with the industry he's in, But anyway, so yeah, it's not like he would, oh, Baltimore, how can I screw you? No, he looked at this red line and said, this is not going to be functional. It's not going to be efficient. It's not going to be financially efficient. So stripped to the bone, the state's contribution for the Washington area's rapid rail purple line, then squeezed, and actually he actually has a grammatical error, and as Mike will tell you, I am the grammar Nazi. Them squeezed 2 counties for $100 million more. Of course, Barry's too busy, giving you what sounds good without giving you all the details. Shifted all the mass transit money saved to rural and ex-urban road and bridge projects. Named a commission to do away with regulations and make sure the membership was exclusively pro-business and Republican leaning. Well, generally speaking, the liberals are not pro-business. And why?
Generally speaking, governors appoint people they want to work with.
And they appoint people who support their goals. So, and a lot of the regulations he's looking at are designed to make Maryland a more business-friendly state. So shame on you, Barry Rascovar, and I don't care that you came out the next day and said, well, it was only 17 words. You know what? You shouldn't have gone there. The man's health. You want to judge the man on his decisions? Judge the man on his decisions. Don't be blaming it on his health when you don't know what his health is, okay? Because every time I'm around the governor at events and stuff, he looks great. He's full of energy. Life is good. So, and frankly, my father-in-law has had stage, I think the governor has stage 3, and my father-in-law had stage 4, and he survived. He's been in remission for several years. So, Barry Rascovar, you get the for the week. Just saying, just irritates me. So I had to go off on that. Right. And as Rain Man says, our roads suck. I couldn't give 2 hills of beans. about some darn art center, especially if Mike Miller and Mike Bush are fond of it. The heck with them. Yes, I know that's not exactly what you wrote, but yeah. So you rode right by my house on Sunday, Rain Man, and you didn't stop. You went to Rock Hall for lunch and you didn't stop. Okay, now you're in trouble. All right, I'll take that up with you later. There was something else, and we did the U.S. Coast Guard thing.
Well, not all of it. But.
Okay, well, do your since we're segueing.
So
talk about
we can segue into an interesting thing. You know, I don't know. Has the show ever invoked Godwin's law?
I don't think we have. Well, maybe back in the beginning when it was Seeing Red. Go ahead.
So I get to invoke Godwin's law. We're going to talk about Nazis.
Go ahead. Go right ahead.
I don't know if anybody is familiar with this, but does anybody who's in the chat room can respond textually, obviously, but for those of you listening, how many of you, by show of hands that we can't see, know that the United States Armed Services have a tall ship in active service that is actually still sailing? So we actually do have. Well, we actually do have.
But that's because
one
you told
that
me
is
right before the show.
We have one that's in active service. The Constitution's up in Boston, and it's still considered an active ship, even though the only thing they ever do with it is take it, just like the Constellation here in Baltimore, take it out, turn back in, so that the opposite side of it gets wear and tear. The United States Coast Guard actually is in possession of a Nazi war vessel. So the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Eagle is a tall ship. She is a.
I'm sorry. Where is she located?
She is home ported up in Groton, Connecticut, or actually on the New London side of the river. So New London, Connecticut, at the Coast Guard Academy. She used to be called the Horst vessel, which was it was used by Nazi Germany as a training vessel in World War II, as part of. The results of World War II, it was taken over by possession of the U.S. Navy. It was turned over to the United States Coast Guard. She still serves today. She is, I think my dad's terms is she is a square-rigged, three-masted ship. I could actually look at the words that my dad uses on it. So she's got three main masts, square-rigged on the first two, triangular sails on the rest, triangular sails in the middle. But she's used for training all officers that go to the United States Coast Guard Academy. So in the Coast Guard Academy, they will serve 2 individual tours on board Eagle. The first time they go out on Eagle, they go out as sailors. They man the rigging. They're running the rat lines. They're the ones climbing the rigging to let down the sails and reef the sails and make position changes. And then a couple of years later, typically during the summer between their junior and senior year, they go out as the officers. The Eagle maintains a very small crew of officers and enlisted personnel that are permanently assigned to her, but her main staffing is made up of the cadets. And when they're out, with the exception of coming into certain ports of call that require that it be under a commissioned officer's command, while she's always under a commissioned officer's command, the helmsman, the acting captain, everybody, the navigator, the engineer, the sailmaster are all cadets.
The Eagle is technically a bark.
Yes, that is true.
Okay. By the way, welcome, Joe R.
So,
speaking of which,
okay,
we're missing somebody.
Which one? Mine? Yeah, he can't.
Oh.
He's out picking up glasses for his little boy.
Oh.
There's a very long article that was released the other day by BBC News about the Nazi origins of the vessel. But to me, she's a very neat vessel. I've never been out on her while she was at sea under sail. I have been on her a couple of times, done several tours of the vessel.
The forward 2 masts are square rigged, and the mizzen mast is fore and aft. Okay.
So the mizzen mast is the aftmost mast. So I can show you. I can't show them. Fore, mid, mizzen.
Okay. So the front, the middle, and the back.
The front 2 are square rigged.
Okay.
So square sails. These.
Oh, it's going this way. Well, your thumb is in the way, so I didn't know which way it was. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't sail. I'm sorry. I don't. Yeah. Boats are things other people own, and maybe I get invited. And I'll bring food and beer or wine or whatever, but I know nothing about them. Just tell me what to do. I know it isn't rope. I know it's line, and I know not to put your foot in it.
So my like I mentioned at the top of the show, my dad's a retired Coastie. He is a Coast Guard Academy graduate, and he sailed aboard Eagle, and he fell in love with sailing, and he was on the Academy sailing team, racing team, and everything else. So every time the tall ships come to town, Eagle is usually one of the tall ships that comes in for the tall ship celebrations that come into Baltimore every few years.
Nice.
And they're one of the few tall ships that actually opens up. It's them and I want to say the Brazilian Navy that typically will pull up along the pier along the wharf next to the Maryland Science Center and actually do tours.
I was coming home from session, I guess 2 years ago, maybe, but one day towards the very end of session, and the tall ships were making their way underneath the Bay Bridge, and so I quick pulled into Hemingway's, grabbed a cocktail, and watched them go. It was really neat. It was really neat. They're beautiful vessels. They really are. A boat is a hole in the water, and which one throws money? See, and this is why I don't have one. So, but it is Mike's lottery ticket wish.
Yes, the bark Eagle would not be, no.
Boat. Yeah, see, I thought so too. Rain Man says the video is kind of blurry, and I thought so too. It comes and goes, so I don't know what the story is there.
But the only thing we could do would be next time try running it back on my phone again and see what happens. But
okay, or it could be YouTube. I don't know. So, oh wait a minute, I didn't want to do that. Go back. Okay. All right. So in the news this week, Christie, you may have heard that he, had a heckler in the audience last week at an event and wanted to know, was basically saying that he was anti-2A, and it's actually referenced in this article. Hold on. Despite his many vetoes of Democratic gun control initiatives, Christie came under fire from a questioner at a 2016 town hall meeting in Ankeny, Ankeney, last week, who demanded Christie prove to voters that he wasn't anti-gun. At the time, the governor displayed his famously fiery temper, dismissing the is that your bevy of women sighing? Just kidding.
Skype signing out.
Yes, I know. I was just kidding. Dismissing the premise that of the man's questions as garbage, accusing him of lying about his record and challenging him to come up with one fact that shows, as governor of New Jersey, I've done anything not to support the rights of legal gun owners. Apparently, somebody else did ask him about something specific, and he said, and they looked it up, and he was like, that was a 20-year-old opinion that I expressed. You've never changed your opinion in 20 years? And I thought, you know what? Absolutely. Darn right. So anyway, according to NewJersey.com, and it doesn't say, by Claude Brodesser Ackner, New Jersey Advanced Media for NJ.com, Christie, I'll pardon legal gun owners arrested in New Jersey. He is very unhappy that if you go through New Jersey with a proper CCW, that people are being arrested. He says, I think the law is wrong. We need to be smarter about the way we do this. What I don't want is for folks to feel like they can't come into our state and be able to travel through it or visit it and have to make sure they go on the internet and look up exactly how you're supposed to be dealing with the gun laws. Christie referred to Brian Fletcher, a North Carolina man volunteering to make emergency storm-related utility repairs in Mercer County, who was facing possible prison time for a felony gun charge after telling a police officer in Hamilton that he had a handgun in his vehicle. So he says they're considering for pardon, but basically the intimation is that he's going to get his pardon. He says, Christie says, this is just not the way to do these things. This was not a guy who was a threat to anyone. Currently, 37 U.S. states have firearm permit reciprocity agreements with at least one other state. Some, like Indiana, Kentucky, and Ohio, universally recognize any carry permit issued by any other state. Quote, I don't know why the legislature won't change something like this when they over and over again see folks who are legal carriers of guns in other states. We're coming through here and not doing anything other than traveling through New Jersey, said Christie. It doesn't make any sense. And I agree. So, I'd be taking my gun with me. So, just because I'd have a CCW and, I'd be carrying. But I certainly would have looked up the law before I went to New Jersey. But it's interesting with that guy. He told the police he had a gun in his car. That's not actually carrying. So like in Maryland, if I have a gun in my car coming back from the range, I don't need a CCW permit for that.
No.
Right. Anyway. So that's that. I should put these in order because I have some other things that I have burning desire to talk about, but that's all right. According to the NRAILA, Los Angeles City Council targets law abiding with magazine ban. Basically, what they've done is said, and they've been fighting this for 2 years. The City Council unanimously passed an amended version of an ordinance that says, well, you can't have magazines that hold more than 10 rounds. And oh, by the way, you have, if this bill is signed into law, which they expect it will be, people who legally possess magazines over 10 rounds have a 60-day grace period to sell them, remove the magazines from the city, or turn them over to the LAPD. Unlike California's magazine law, individuals currently in lawful possession of these magazines will not be protected by a grandfather clause. The ordinance effectively amounts to confiscation because the magazines either must be turned in or removed from within city limits. I don't know what the City of Los Angeles hopes to achieve. If I'm going to go shoot up a movie theater, I can do it with 8, I can do it with 9, I can do it with several magazines. I mean, I don't get it. So anyway, ain't real smart.
Feel good laws.
Yeah. So
that only infringe on the law abiding.
Yeah. By the way, from friends, a mutual friends webpage today, or Facebook page, I picked up a New York Times op-ed piece by a man named Goodwill Nzou, Nzou, and this was published. Actually, it was published yesterday. And apparently the byline is he also has a home in Winston-Salem. My mind was absorbed by the biochemistry of by the way, op-ed is, or the opinion piece is, in Zimbabwe, we don't cry for lions. Can't tell you how much I am irritated by this whole Cecil the lion thing. Look, I don't care to hunt lions. I don't care to hunt elephants. I don't care to hunt giraffe or rhino or hippo. But if you want to, and it's legal, and you are abiding by all of the regulations, go for it. I won't hunt what I won't eat. So, that's just, but that's me. It doesn't make it right for Mike or you or anybody else. So, and if you've been following me on my Facebook page, you've seen the articles where, they put up such a fuss over the death of this lion, and the Zimbabweans are going, who? Even the minister, even the prime minister of information, or the information prime minister, or whatever, the chief PR guy in Zimbabwe, when I think it was the Associated Press asked him about it, he was like, who's Cecil? So here's this op-ed piece in the or not op-ed because it's not the editors didn't write it, but here's an opinion piece written in the New York Times. My mind was absorbed by the biochemistry of gene editing when the text messages and Facebook posts distracted me. So sorry about Cecil. Did Cecil live near your place in Zimbabwe? Cecil who? I wondered. When I turned on the news and discovered the messages were about a lion killed by an American dentist, the village boy inside me instinctively cheered. One lion fewer to menace families like mine. And I'll skip ahead because you really should read the piece yourself. But did all those Americans signing petitions understand that lions actually kill people? Did all that talk about Cecil being below hype Did Jimmy Kimmel choke up because Cecil was murdered or because he confused him with Simba from The Lion King? That's what we should open the show with. Maybe we should close the show with that. In my village in Zimbabwe, surrounded by wildlife conservation areas, no lion has ever been beloved or granted an affectionate nickname. They are objects of terror. And he goes on to talk about his experience with growing up with, wild animals. I wonder if Cecil County will change their logo to a lion now. With a collar. I love it. You know, my dad and I were talking about that collar thing. Do you realize in order for that collar to have been able to have been seen by that hunter, he would have been, the lion would have been able to slip the collar? There's no way that hunter could have seen it because.
They have a mane.
Right. Well, that's exactly it. So anyway, he goes on. Recently, a 14-year-old boy in a village not far from mine wasn't so lucky, sleeping in his family's fields, as villagers do to protect crops from the hippos, buffalo, and elephants that trample them. He was mauled by a lion and died. I'm sorry, where's the outcry? I'm sorry, where are the petitions? Where are the, the rallies for this 14-year-old boy? The killing of Cecil hasn't garnered much more sympathy from urban Zimbabweans. Although they live with no such danger. Few have ever seen a lion, since game drives are luxury residents of a country with an average monthly income below $150 cannot afford. He goes on and he says, we Zimbabweans are left shaking our heads wondering why Americans care more about African animals than about African people. And he says, and please, he concludes this, and please don't offer me condolences about Cecil unless you're also willing to offer me condolences for villagers killed or left hungry by this brethren, by his brethren, by political violence or by hunger. And Goodwill Nazu is a doctoral student in molecular and cellular biosciences at Wake Forest University. So, yeah. And I love that there was a Facebook sticker, whatever you want to call those things, a meme. And it had an outline of Africa. If you can't identify where Zimbabwe is.
No,
right.
That meme wasn't an outline of Africa. It said, if you can't tell where Zimbabwe is, the meme, like the sarcasm implied, South America.
That's not the one I saw then.
Okay. I did see one that somebody had posted up that said, if you can't tell me where Zimbabwe is.
I could tell you the difference between South America and Africa, and definitely what I was looking at was Africa. So anyway, and I know you all will be very just brokenhearted to hear the following. Out of Pennsylvania, politicspa.com, written by Nick Field, managing editor. Governor Wolf finally named his new police commissioner after the state Senate vetoed down Wolf's original choice, Marcus Brown. The governor let Brown rule as acting commissioner, but he's finally chosen his replacement, so Marcus Brown is now out of a job.
There you go.
Yeah, that's not the one I saw. It looked like that, but it wasn't that. It was Africa.
Okay.
Because I know what Brazil looks like. So yeah. Africa looks like Mrs. O'Wiggins. Okay. Okay. Not to worry. If he was a 14-year-old girl in Africa, he would have been. Oh no, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna read that out loud. Hey, you know what I found out this week? Amy Schumer is Chuck Schumer's cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Explains a lot. So Senator Chuck Schumer teamed up with another Schumer. Of course, they don't want to say it's his cousin.
Oh, actually, the news agencies around here, news radio stations have been mentioning that.
I had to look it up. When you sent me the article, I had to look it up. On Monday, to push for stricter gun control laws, the two Schumers held a news conference in New York to unveil a new proposal drafted by the senator. You know, because Chuck Schumer, he's such a favorite of this show. Yes, I know who Mrs. Wiggins is. Hence the reason I said that. And yes, poor Marcus Brown. So, anyway, and by the way, the guy they replaced Marcus Brown with, 30-year state trooper in Pennsylvania. I think
30-year Pennsylvania state trooper.
Yeah,
yes.
so they're pretty happy with that. And that's just smart. It's just smart. So anyway, unveil a new proposal drafted by the senator meant to prevent violent criminals, abusers, and those with mental illnesses from obtaining guns. The push comes in the wake of the shooting in Lafayette, Louisiana last month at the screening of Schumer's new movie, Trainwreck, at which 2 women were killed and at least 9 other people were injured. Quote, if there is anything that the mass shootings at Lafayette, Chattanooga, Charleston, Virginia Tech, Aurora, Sandy Hook, and so many other places have taught us, it's that we should be doing everything in our power to prevent weapons from falling into the hands of hateful evildoers and the mentally ill, the senator said in a statement. However, the U.S. is not doing enough, and many lives are at stake. Well, here's the deal. Colin Noir said it best, and I wish we could have played it on here, but I didn't get permission to play it, so I couldn't do it. But if you're evil, you're evil. And you can call it mental health, but you're still evil. And as I have explained on countless occasions to just about anybody that will listen, you can take away people's guns, but evil is still going to prosper. If somebody wants to go and hurt people, they will find a way. So, you know, the idea of violating our constitutional rights because, you know, people died. No, people are going to die by the hands of people that are evil. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be no stopping it. So, and you know, the other thing is when they start talking about the mentally ill, what concerns me is, so eventually we're going to get to, well, if you've ever been on an antidepressant.
Well, I mean, we brought that up in testimony in front of at least the House Judiciary Committee before for the past couple of years, especially during FSA 2013. Mm-hmm. So, yep.
2 years ago, the Democratic-led Senate could not muster 60 votes to advance background checks legislation written by Senators Joe Manchin, Democrat out of West Virginia, and Pat Toomey, Republican out of Pennsylvania, in the aftermath of Newtown, in which 20 young children and 6 adults were killed. And don't get me wrong, I am brokenhearted for these families. I mean, it's just horrid. But the liberals want to have, it's a reactionary, what do you call it? It's like when the doctor.
Knee-jerk.
Thank you. I was going to say when the doctor hits your hammer with the, you know, hits your
knee-jerk reaction.
That's exactly what this is. And it won't solve anything. It's like saying, well, you can't have a 15-round magazine because, you know, you might be dangerous with 15 rounds. You're not dangerous with 10, but you might be dangerous with 15.
So Chris writes, outlaw evil assault knives too. Got news for you. Since we've already bothered to try introducing the COPA, the Knife Owners Protection Act, right, the equivalent to FOPA, can we say camel's nose under a tent?
Well, how about this?
And look at England.
How about this? So then we get rid of, all right, so we get rid of all guns. We get rid of all knives, including butter knives. Okay. So does that mean then we get rid of kerosene, gasoline?
So I've had the running joke with people before about what we go through for airline security. So I don't know if, for those of you looking on the video, this is my laptop. This is not light.
No.
And I carry it in a bag onto a plane. I have to hold the microphone for the next view. This is my power supply.
Yeah.
That thing probably weighs close to 1.5 pounds.
I was going to say 2, but
and it's on the end of a 6-foot or 9-foot cord. They make really good weapons.
Wait.
You can't legislate morality. You can't, you know, all the feel good laws in the world. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's outlaw murder. Oh, wait.
Right.
Let's outlaw robbery. Oh, wait. Let's outlaw.
We're gonna have a gun-free
zone. Let's outlaw first-degree assault. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
You know, has that solved the problems in Baltimore?
No. And as I have said countless times on this show, but it bears repeating, you know, this is not the time in our history where we have had the most mass murders. Okay. In terms of history, it was actually during Prohibition when we had way more mass murders than we're having now. So, okay.
The Monty Python reference.
Oh, okay. All right.
So for those who aren't in the chat room, one of our chat room members is going in line with the Monty Python, The Meaning of Life. Bring out your knives, clang. Bring out your knives.
I don't remember
clang.
that part.
Well, in The Meaning of Life, there's the bring out your dead.
Yeah, okay. I clearly need to go watch that movie again. Schumer, Murphy, and Blumenthal have asked, with the chances of gun control vote in a GOP-controlled Congress unlikely, Democrats are taking their plea directly to businesses. Schumer, Murphy, and Blumenthal asked retailers to require completion of background check in federal law that allows firearms transactions to proceed if a background check is not completed within 3 days of an attempted purchase. And
I'm sorry, it's from the Monty Python and the Search for the Holy Grail. Well,
that explains why I don't remember it because I've seen one and not the other. Anyway, authorities say that Dylan Roof, who was accused in the fatal shooting of 9 people at the Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston, was able to obtain a gun because of that loophole.
It's not a loophole,
right?
So
that's what
so it is a fundamental civil right.
I don't think the authorities are actually saying that. The authorities.
Oh, I know.
Anyway.
The Daniel Websters of the world.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shoot. I forgot to print that article out. All right, let me finish that and then let's talk about that. As a matter of fact, it'll be timely. Senator Bill Cassidy, Republican out of Louisiana, took to the floor to call for fixes to the current mental health system as he honored the 2 shooting victims, Jillian Johnson and Macy Breaux, Breaux. I'm not sure if that's Breaux or Brew. Cassidy will unveil legislation overhauling the mental health system on Tuesday, and with Murphy. The bill is expected to hew closely to mental health legislation in the House, drafted by Republican Tim Murphy, Republican out of Pennsylvania. The events that transpired in Lafayette are a reminder of the long road we must take to reform our mental health system, Cassidy said last week. Too many innocent lives are being taken in senseless attacks in movie theaters, schools, churches, and other places we should feel safe. The common denominator in these tragedies is all too often is untreated mental illness. And yes, okay, but you can call it untreated. I liked Colin Noir. If you're not friended to Colin Noir on Facebook, go do it because he's a pretty interesting guy.
So it was the NRA News from today thing, right? His most recent NRA News commentary.
I don't know. I picked it up off his Facebook.
Then it's probably.
So I don't know, but it was.
Okay.
Play it anyway.
Well, it's NRA News. I don't know if we get in trouble.
Should we make a call?
My
shrubs weep for you in your lack of Python exposure. I did see The Life of Why and Watcha.
Is it How to Defend Free Speech?
No.
I sat at home in pure astonishment.
Okay.
No, this is a response to that. Shrubberies. Had to check the truck windows starting to storm. Okay. Apparently it's storming in Alabama.
I'll be driving through there soon.
Yeah. Federal agents are going to be embedded with Baltimore City homicide cops to quell unprecedented violence. 10 federal agents will join the Baltimore Police Homicide Unit. Commanders announced Sunday after the city followed its deadliest month in decades with a night in which 10 people were shot, seven of them in one incident. A total of 191 people have been killed in Baltimore in 2015. 45 were killed in July alone, matching the all-time high monthly high from 1972, when the city had 275,000 more residents. By the way, Davis, who's the new police chief, said officers have confiscated about 20% more guns on the street this year than at this point last year. Police believe people are arming themselves amid an, quote, atmosphere of uncertainty after April's unrest. I'm sorry, I thought the FSA was going to take care of all this. Just saying. I mean, O'Malley promised us, and Bush and Miller said the Firearms Safety Act will take care of this. So I don't understand. Somebody needs to tell me.
Well, Vinny said it's going to take us a couple of years to actually get the statistics.
Yeah, right. Okay. So we got more dead in Baltimore than ever before, but it's still going to take a couple of years to get statistics. A spokesman for Rawlings Blake has called the move to bring in federal agents, exactly the kind of all hands on deck approach that the mayor has been calling for. The 10 new federal agents will join 20 ATF agents already working cases in Baltimore streets, with the department's ceasefire detectives and a full-time FBI analyst assigned to the analytical intelligence section, Davis said. What did I write here? Hold on. Davis plans to attend a summit. Oh, this is funny. Yeah. Davis plans to attend a summit of major police chiefs in Washington this week to discuss the causes and solutions for national increase in killings.
He did. There was a lovely picture of him and Lanier on the friggin' newspaper.
So we're going to figure out what the causes of the national increase in homicides is? Really? We're spending money to figure that out? Because, pretty sure I don't have a law enforcement degree. Pretty sure I've never been a cop, but pretty sure I know what the causes and the increases are. Okay. So anyway, that was my comment on that, because it was like, are you kidding me? And yes, apparently the liberals can't get on the same page as to whether or not they like the Bloomberg study or not.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Is that in your pile?
Yes.
Yeah, hit it then.
So Kevin Rector, the Baltimore Sun, August 2nd, 2015, headline reads, Mosby derailed program to analyze Baltimore homicides. So decent enough article, long enough article where Marilyn Mosby decides that it's not in Baltimore's best interest because it costs money.
Yeah. So Daniel Webster testifying for the Firearms Safety Act was good for the liberals then, okay, in Annapolis, when they were trying to, shove this stupid legislation through. But now that the, homicide rate has gone up astronomically in Baltimore, we don't like Daniel Webster anymore because, he's paid, and so he's biased, right? Isn't that?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the actual quote that she had about it. Now, the article quotes Daniel Webster quite a bit, and he's incredibly frustrated with Mosby's office not participating and not giving details and not being willing to participate in this academic study that would be worthwhile.
Bolts, I'm not reading that on the air. Go ahead.
Oh, I can't find the one quote, and I may have to look up her.
It could be the other.
Wording.
It could be the other article.
So, as the commission sought to build momentum, quote from the article, Mosby's office said it would only share information from closed cases. So, I can respect that. A closed case has been adjudicated in some way, shape, or form, whether it's been closed because there was no evidence, or it's gone through the court system and whatever has been decided for the case. That would be fine. Webster's complaint, quote, that was taking us back to cases 2.5 or 3 years old or more.
Right.
So.
See, this is why I highlight stuff, because I can't.
No, I know. I just
you do better on the fly. Yeah, I know.
But and I'll find the quote on her real quick. But I had it.
Andy and Mike, we need to use the quote from that article about citizens arming themselves in session next year. Okay. Make a note. Hey, man, you're in charge of making that note. While he's looking that up, massive Taurus safety settlement could include 100,000 pistols. This is according to bearingarms.com, posted by Bob Owens the end of last month. Though it seems to be largely flying under the radar, a $39 million class action settlement by Taurus Firearms could impact up to 100,000 handguns with alleged safety designed issues. Brazil-based handgun maker Forgis Taurus SA has agreed to a $39 million settlement in a lawsuit alleging some of the company's most popular semi-automatic handguns can discharge when dropped and have a defective safety that allows the gun to fire even when it's engaged. Okay, yeah, that's not good. According to court documents filed in the U.S. District Court in Florida, the company has agreed to pay up to $30 million to owners of 9 separate handgun models who opt to send their pistols back. Well, I'd be sending mine back, period. With owners receiving anywhere from $150 to $200 for the pistols, depending on how many choose that option. Well, I don't know what a Taurus costs, and I suspect it would depend on what model it was, but I would hope I'd be getting all my money back if it was more than $150 to $200. The agreement will also extend the warranty for 9 handgun models, allowing gun owners to send the pistols back to have the handguns inspected by Taurus technicians and address the safety defects alleged in the suit. You know, I'm sorry, that's not making me feel real good. They're the ones that screwed this up in the first place. Documents show the settlement could include as many as 100,000 handguns. The settlement also calls for a maximum of $9 million in attorney's fees. A Taurus official confirmed the settlement agreement, arguing that the company does not admit any wrongdoing. It affects the PT 111 Millennium, the PT 132 Millennium, the PT 138 Millennium, the PT 140 Millennium, PT 145 Millennium, the PT 745 Millennium, PT 609, PT 640, and the PT 24/7. These safety issues do not apparently affect older metal frame pistols based upon Beretta designs nor the G2 model. So there you have it.
So backing to the Mosby thing, the quote was from, or well, not necessarily a quote, but Justin Fenton tweeted.
Oh, yeah.
It was a Justin Fenton tweet and the quote from his Twitter feed.
Yep.
Mosby questioning the integrity of Johns Hopkins School for Public Health. I love the fact that he omitted a part of that. Researcher Daniel Webster says he has a financial gain at stake.
Well, he didn't have a choice. There's only 140.
Yes, I know, but it's interesting that he decided to not put a B in there.
I'm sorry?
He abbreviated it as at Johns Hopkins SPH.
Yeah.
So it's actually, you should actually be abbreviating it Johns Hopkins BSPH.
Yeah, okay.
Because it is the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health.
Okay, I got
So, what Daniel Webster has a financial stake in keeping Bloomberg money coming to the school? I never would have guessed.
I mean, it's not like we didn't say that, but, you know, whatever. And another thing seen on Facebook this week, a picture of a simple and this is according to it was picked up by WTEN, and I don't know what city that's out of. A simple trip to the store ended with a local Iraq veteran getting a hateful letter left on his car.
Albany, New York.
Thank you. And the letter says, I see you have a Purple Heart sticker and an Iraq War veteran sticker. It's too bad that you were only wounded. The world would be better off if you were killed. All of you Islamophobes, vets, deserve to die. And then there's a black stripe over the word. Is it after 9 o'clock? It's not. Okay.
No, 7 more minutes.
So bleep you and your quote unquote service. Unbelievable. Yeah, and it's in, you know, the comments are obviously very supportive of the veteran. But somebody says, I've often wanted to send liberal morons like this to Afghanistan to a bed with the Marine grunt unit for a couple of weeks and then ask them if they feel the same after a night of watching the Marines fighting for their lives and his. And absolutely. But I mean, God help anybody I ever found out that would do something like that. I just unbelievable how stupid people are. Sorry.
Those types of things. That's a much more irritating thing than the other one. But the other little minor irritation. Oh, I could have chosen to go into the Marines, but I didn't. Okay, I'm happy for you.
I could have won the lottery, but I didn't. I had to. You know,
that kind of stuff, you know. I got yelled at for veteran stuff before.
You did.
So you know, Harris Teeter has in their parking lots.
That's a grocery store.
Yes, Harris Teeter is a grocery store.
We don't have those here.
In their parking lots, next to the handicap signs, They typically will have a couple of handicap spaces. They'll typically have one handicap space designated for the Wounded Warrior program.
Oh, nice.
And then they also have one set of parking spaces, same sign on both sides, that just says reserved for veterans.
Nice.
Close up to the door. And the one
gotta go shop at Harris Teeter.
the one closest to me, that happened to be the closest open parking space one night and coming home, and I was like, okay, well, I'll park there. Came back out, and somebody was getting out of their car and walking in, and I didn't have anything Marine Corps related on or anything else. My car, the only thing on there that says anything about the Marine Corps is a license plate bracket that's fading. And I got this looking.
That space is reserved for veterans.
Thank you. I am one.
Right.
No, you're not.
You're kidding.
I can't tell. You're not limping. You're not missing a leg or something.
Like, good Lord, what the hell is wrong with you?
Oh my God. Because all veterans are injured. Oh.
It was just like, really? Okay, good night.
Yeah. Sleep well. Go have another beer. So yeah, gosh, I gotta go shop at. I gotta go find a Harris Teeter. Teeter. Okay, yeah, because we don't have any such things here. What is that?
This is the one about the sporting thing. So it's from NRAILA about the ATF making lots of decisions about basing lots of their recent decisions on the sporting purposes test. It's like, okay, wait a minute. The Second Amendment says nothing about sport.
Right.
The Second Amendment says nothing about hunting. The Second Amendment says very little about anything from a sporting or enthusiast perspective.
Right.
It's a very simple and easy to read line. It really doesn't have a whole lot of characters in it. And for some reason, the ATF has gone on this wild binge of basically interpreting sporting purposes in negative ways to lead to more gun control. So they tried to claim that the M855 cartridge, green tip cartridges didn't have a sporting purpose, therefore that they should be banned.
Yes.
What is it now? There's been some stuff out about different types of grenades that you can actually buy a grenade launcher.
In the state of Maryland?
Well, they are legal, and you can buy grenades and of certain types.
Yeah.
But they're making certain ones of those because of their content and what their primer compounds are and everything else, that they're deeming them explosives because they don't have a sporting purpose.
I got you.
So
okay.
Basically, NRAILA, for one of the big quotes from it, the called out quotes, by making undefined sporting purposes the test for legality under numerous federal firearms laws, Congress not only delegated too much discretion to BATFI, it de-emphasized the primary purpose Americans own firearms and the primary purpose of the Constitutional protection. That is... This was just, you got a lot of things that ATF, there's references to the Miller case, there's references to Heller.
Keep going. No. I'll get to you in a minute.
There's
Morphe is with us. I guess it's Mo. Arcam. Yeah, Arcam's asking bolts, I guess. You got a guest room? I'm about to charter a Luau bus and haul everyone down there. I'm like, okay, we can take the show on the road. Are you going to charter a bus? I'll bring a kiss me. Oh, geez. Okay.
There's threads on Shooters actually that talk about legal for purchase smoke grenades and other types of grenades and certain sizes of grenade launchers. You think about a flare. A flare launcher is a flare is a specialized type of grenade.
Yeah.
So.
Radical gun control. This is according to Bearing Arms. The Radical Gun Control Group urges swatting gun owners abuse of 9/11 system. If you go, and I checked this
gun violence.
I checked this morning and it was up. So Operation to Stop Gun Violence. They have a post. Have a ball, okay? Because anybody that is this blessed stupid I have done very well tonight.
1 minute.
But I've done very well tonight.
Yeah.
Minute. Hold on. No, I seem to have.
No, I don't know.
It's
I'm seeing
blurry,
the feed
but...
as it goes out, so I can't see what's going on. So
all right. Well, let me just double check. I closed it out, and now I'm bringing it back up. So,
okay, so I'm not looking at anything on the computer that should cause it to be glitchy at all. So.
Yeah, it's a little blurry, but maybe because of the positioning. No, to the show. Here's the post. If you see someone carrying a firearm in public, openly or concealed, if you see someone carrying a concealed, okay, well, if it's concealed, how can you see it? But anyway, and have any doubts about their intent, call 911 immediately and ask police to come to the scene. Never put your safety or the safety of your loved ones at the mercy of weak gun laws that arm individuals in public with little or no criminal and or mental health screening. Are you freaking kidding me?
9 o'clock.
It is. I noted that. You'll note that the Coalition to Stop Gun Violence does say to call the police on. It just does say to call the police on people brandishing firearms or armed people exhibiting signs of asking their followers. They are not asking the followers to call 911. 911, I'm sorry, over armed people who are behaving erratically. They're instead asking their followers to call 911 and demand that they send police to interdict and harass gun owners who are not suspected of breaking law. So in other words, if you see some, call the police. They're on mission to stop gun violence. Please write that down. That's your homework for the week. You all have homework. Have a ball.
I'll put the link to their Facebook page in the chat.
That'd be good. Yes, I would not want. I would be remiss if I did not mention the fabulous Centerville Liquors, and we are mindful of the 9 o'clock hour because Jim graciously plays our show in his store when he is there on Wednesday nights, and if not, he is usually sitting at home working on his accounts, listening to our show. So good evening, Jim, and thank you. And yes, I am enjoying this evening. Actually, that's about all I have.
Else either. So.
Okay. So we got
no show next week.
No show next week. The 22nd of August in Annapolis, and I can get you the if it's not already up on Shooters, is the Annapolis Friends of the NRA dinner. I will be there. So if anybody wants, I will be representing. I will be with the Maryland State Rifle and Pistol Association. But please come. It's like $50 a ticket, and I think it's at the Elks Lodge.
There's 2 of them.
What?
There's 2 upcoming events for Friends of the NRA in Maryland.
Okay, I don't know about the other one.
So just posted the Friends of the NRA page. Let's see, the tickets for the 22nd of August, $50 for a single, $90 for a couple, $1,000 for a table.
Yeah, it's at the Annapolis Elks Club on Solomon's Island Road at 4 p.m. And apparently it's a good one.
For those people who are members, is that?
No. Anybody? So.
And there's a Gunpowder Basin Friends of the NRA dinner at Bowley's Quarter Volunteer Fire Department
Bowley's Quarter?
Bowley Quarters, Maryland.
So
on the 29th.
Okay. Bowley's Quarter is like, I don't know. These guys will know. I thought that was Baltimore-ish. I don't know. But anyway.
By zip code, it should be Baltimore County.
But anyway, so come see me at the Annapolis Elks Club on the 22nd at 4:00 because I mean I'm not speaking or anything, but come keep me company.
Bowley Quarters is the Middle River.
Yep.
Okay. Right across from the end of the runway of Martin State.
So without a permit except in your car, but you get a concealed permit. And you can open carry in the car too.
Yes, my entire upcoming trip I could carry everywhere once I cross the Virginia state line. I could. But I'm married to a hoplophobe.
Married a woman who's afraid of guns.
Love her to death, but she's afraid of guns.
Right. What? We'll start shortly right after. I don't. Chris, stop it. I'm trying to figure out this new bourbon computer. It's gotten progressively blurry. Blame the bourbon. Don't blame Mike. And yeah, Bully's Quarter is in Baltimore County, and Bully's Quarters. Thank you. And Morphe, who I suspect is Morphe S. Eastern Baltimore County, right next to Essex. Anyway, one Apple Club on the 22nd. Tickets are $50 each, $90 if you want to bring your significant other. But come keep me company. I'd love to see you. And apparently the auctions are epic.
Okay, news.
Oh?
A man wielding a hatchet and shooting pepper spray was killed at a Tennessee movie theater on Wednesday after police responding to reports of a disturbance shot him as he tried to go out the back door.
So wait a minute.
He also had an airsoft pistol.
Oh, okay. Because I heard about this early. There's a lone shooter, and that's why we didn't report on it, because as you all know, we wait to find out the facts before we report on it. So
the facts are apparently he had an airsoft pistol, but he must have used the hatchet because there was somebody with a superficial injury to his on the shoulder from the hatchet.
Interesting. Ban the hatchets.
Oh my God, we should make it a crime for people to attack people with hatchets. Oh,
I'm just saying.
Suicide. No, actually, we didn't, Morpheus. I have not done any research. I saw the article today. So Morpheus is asking, did you guys talk about the illegal aliens who were appointed to a public board in California?
First of all, they're illegal immigrants. Aliens come from another planet.
The league is for the United States. In the United States is an alien. You can either be resident trans or an illegal alien.
Okay. I'm not going to argue with you until I look it up, but I will be looking it up. I might know an attorney. Suicide by cop. I couldn't. I don't know. We won't Arkham. We're not going to know more for a couple of days. So, people will. It's just like the Cecil Lion thing. There's going to be all kinds of backlash in the next 24 to 36 hours. I'm not even going to pay attention to it until Friday afternoon, Saturday, because nothing I can do. What?
U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services official webpage, glossary.
With that. I've been corrected so damn many times. I thought I was wrong.
I'm just saving you the trouble of looking it up.
Yes, dear. All right. So you will not be here, so there will be no show because I have no producer. He's abandoning me in favor of his lovely wife. And so we will be back in 2 weeks, and I'm sure there will be news by then. So I think, and hopefully I will have news too.
See, the laptop is the laptop that, runs the feed, so I can't see it. I rely on reports from you guys. I'm on the house at Andy's house, and the computer that she's on, looking at it, and we haven't seen anything out of the ordinary.
I saw it blurry. I saw it way blurry, but I didn't.
There shouldn't be anybody else using the feed in the house, so.
So I don't know. What the heck? This woman sent me a thing, and she responded to me. And she said, "Andy, comma." I said, like an S. She said, I have now not idea what happened to the rest of this message. Here's a link to my album on Walgreens of the Pups. Oh, I know who this is. Oh, okay. I got it. I know who this is. Okay. This is the woman when we took Molly down to the beach, and there was a couple there that had boated in, and they were on a staycation, and she had taken pictures, and I couldn't figure out who the heck she was. So I thought, oh, I'm getting spammed, but weird that they were spamming me from a Walgreens thing. But I will post those on my Facebook. I have to go through and look, but there are some freaking fabulous, there should be some fabulous pictures here. And that was the day I started to learn to paddleboard, which I really want to do. Look. Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah. So anyway, that's it. We will see you in 2 weeks, and have a great vacation.
I'm going to try.
I bet you will. So thank you so much for tuning in. Lock and Load Radio, August 5th edition. And remember, if there's something you want us to talk about, grab me on Facebook, grab Mike on wherever. He's usually much better about being on the shooters than I am, although I try to pay attention, as much as I can. But I'm in the middle of a couple projects too. So but grab one of us and let us know, and we will absolutely cover it. So, or you can always call me at 410-490-2734. We will see you in 2 weeks. Good night.
Good night.
Kettle drums, timpani. How's my tuning? Am I in tune still? No. This is my little tune. So anyway, many of you know the story. Washington had been burned to the ground, which I think enough for you. Hold on, if you give me the first chord, okay. The last time we did this was at the Creative Alliance. C sharp minor. Which one? It's in F, right? Am I capo correctly? Isn't this professional? It's an E. No wonder I'm not going to hit it. Oh, I'm good now. All right.